Welcome back to the show. As you know, this is the Digital Pit Boss Marathon. And boy, it's time to do a little bit of teaching. Real quick, something. Not a big, long one, but enough to get it in. So, as you know, the title of the show today, this is Booker T. Washington and a letter from Marcus Garvey, RBG, red, black, green. You know how we do it. Let's get it in today, folks. I got a new title of the show for y'all. New title of the show. And let's play a little music, get us going. You know how we do it. Gonna lay it back for y'all. This is for your brain cells. Gonna let it ride on you, marinate on you. We're gonna get it in. It's gonna be a good one. So, we got the Fraternal Order of Pan-Africanism, Pan-African History, and the STEM program, Straight Nation Building. As you know, Pit Boss got a difference in opinion. I believe that Booker T. Washington, according to history, was the greatest man to effect change in the African American paradigm, in the American African paradigm, in the Moor paradigm, in the Hebrew Israelite paradigm, in the Kemetic paradigm, and in all Black life paradigm on the planet. And y'all gonna sit back as your boy proves that. You know how we do it, right? So let's get to it. Let's get to these letters. Let me break that good old Southern music down for you because you ain't ready for that yet. Slow down, be strong when it's on the song. Gotta put a little bit of oomph into it. Y'all know how we do it. Now I'm gonna see how many of y'all watch this video. You know what I'm saying? If I go chop, chop, chop to them cats around the block, y'all send it. Love those videos. But this one is for my STEM people. This is what the channel was built on. This is the groundwork of the channel. And I come here today to lay it on you. So today I'm going to be showing you 4 letters written from Marcus Garvey to Booker T. Washington and from Booker T. Washington to Marcus Garvey. Now, they didn't have email, so it took time to put these letters back and forth. But the reason why we're dealing with this subject is because I've been focusing on those who teach Pan-African history, and they don't quite agree as they teach something different. Just to give you a little example, let's use one of the modern time popular in demand, our own brother, Umar Tunde Johnson, the great prince of Pan-Africanism. Y'all know about him. He's been popular. Let's take a little bit of listen and see, you know, his perspective. And this is not a shot to say he's wrong, as in this line of work. You study the information and you come up with your own conclusion. Well, I'll present to you his perspective in short narrative from his own words, and then we're going to get to the letters and we're going to break it down. Y'all going to hear about the digital pit boss. Baby, baby. You know how we do it. All right, let's listen to Mr. Johnson.
Marcus Garvey came to America in 1916. Marcus Garvey incorporated the Universal Negro Improvement Association and African Communities League in New York City, 1917. Tomorrow is 2017. It's almost been 100 years this March since Marcus Garvey has brought the largest Black organization of all time to New York City. So in honor of His Excellency, the King of Revolutionary Pan-African Nationalism, Marcus Messiah Garvey, in Pan-Africanism itself, Dr. Umar Johnson will be hosting the
All right. So he's going to be doing an event. Matter of fact, he's doing an event simultaneously as I'm presenting this. It's 5:20 in Atlanta, Georgia. And Umar Johnson is in Atlanta, Georgia, somewhere with the room packed out. When they walk up out of there, they're going to believe that Marcus Garvey is the greatest Pan-African revolutionary and Pan-African in history. If that's what he teaches. So, why do I disagree? Because Garvey never reached the level where he was far above all other leaders of his day. He was great. He was definitely great. Can't take that away from Garvey. He even took Pan-Africanism and the concept further than Booker T. Washington for his time. But he sure enough didn't invent it. He just had a different era. But he would be nothing without the master teacher. Without the master teacher. As you heard Umar Johnson, Marcus Garvey arrives in 1916. Booker T. Washington dies in 1915, November, I believe it's November 10th, something like that. I could be off. Go ahead, but expose pit boss. Javin Pellets, go ahead and expose me. I'm off a couple days. Yeah, I'm not always good, but I don't think I am, so go and check that. Nevertheless, let's get into these letters, right? Let me share my screen with you. Can't do a thing without technology, without that STEM program bringing us this good technology. Boom, I got the evidence. We're gonna blow the screen up. I'm gonna get it on for you. This is for the students now. This particular viewing is for the students, right? Okay, hold up. Let's back that out again. Let's do this one all over. Boom. Let's get it right. Let's get it right. All right. So, what do we have here? From Marcus Mosiah Garvey. He's in Kingston, Jamaica, West Indies, September 8th, and the year is 1914. And he says, and it reads, Dear Sir and Brother, I have been informed by our commissioner in London that you are expected to be in Europe during the month of April or May of next year, and that you will be engaged addressing meetings in London and other cities of the British Isles and subject of the progress of the Negro. Please be good enough to inform me if this is correct. I have been keeping in touch with your good works in America, and although there is a difference of opinion on the lines of which the Negro should develop himself, yet fair-minded critics cannot fail in admiring your noble efforts. The two schools of America have gone as far as to give us, who are outside the real possibilities of the industrial and intellectual scope of the Negro energy. We are organized out here on the board lines, and we find it conclusive to our interests to pave our way both industrially and intellectually. The prejudice of these countries is far different from that of the Americas. Here, we have to face the prejudice of hypercritical white men who nevertheless are our friend, as also to fight down the prejudice of our race in the shade colors. Our organization is marching steadily on, and we hope to extend our scope all over the world within the next few years. I've just returned from a tour in Europe where I spent 2 years studying the Negroes placed there. I am also hoping to be in England about March next year after paying a visit to the USA. I intend lecturing in a few of the European cities on the condition of the West Indian Negro. I enclose for you a circular appeal, which I feel sure will interest you, and I am asking that you be good enough as to help us with all the small donations to carry out our work. We publish for the first time next week our paper, The Negro World, a copy of which we shall send you regularly. If you publish any journals in connection with Tuskegee, please be good enough to send us the same in exchange. Wishing you well and praying for the salvation of the worldwide Ethiopia. Yours in the bonds of the fellowship, Marcus Garvey, President and Traveling Commissioner. Right. Okay. So now that's the first letter. That's the first letter written by the Traveling Commissioner, Marcus Mosiah Garvey. Now, Marcus Garvey decides he'll write a second letter just a few days later. The first one was on September 8th. The next shall be September 17th. And the letter is to Marcus Mosiah Garvey. I'm sorry. This is a return of the letter. And it says, a letter to Marcus Mosiah Garvey, Tuskegee, Alabama, September 17, 1914. My dear sir, I have your very kind favor of some days ago. I need not reacquaint you of the horrible conditions. I have given up altogether my plans for a European trip, which I had planned for next March. Matters are in such unsettling conditions in those countries that I fear I could not accomplish what I hope to do. I shall keep the matter in mind and hope to be able to make the trip at some other time. I have read what you say, with reference in advance being made an educational facility for the Negroes of that section. I hope that when you come to America, you will come to Tuskegee and see for yourself what we are striving to do for the colored young man and woman of the South. I thank you for the printed matter which you sent. I shall give it careful reading at the earliest convenience. I regret, however, that I'm not able now to make a contribution towards your work. We shall be very glad to receive copies of the Negro World and shall be glad to send you in exchange the Tuskegee Student, published at this institution. Yours very truly, Booker T. Washington. All right. The exchange is getting interesting. On to the third letter. All right. So the next letter from Marcus Mosiah Garvey, writing from Kingston, Jamaica in the West Indies on April 12th, 1915. A little time has elapsed. And he writes, and Garvey writes, Dear Dr. Washington, sometime last year, I wrote to you informing you of my proposed visit to America to lecture in the interest of the association, and you were good enough to write me, inviting me to see your great institution. I am expecting to leave for America between May and June, and I shall be calling on you. I intend to do most of my public speaking in the South, among the people of our race. I enclose for you a manifesto of our association, which will give you an idea of the objects we have in view. I am now asking you to do your best to assist me during my stay in America, as I shall be coming there, a stranger to the people, trusting to be forward with an early reply. With best wishes, I remain your obedient servant, trusting to be favored with an early reply. With best wishes, I remain your obedient servant, Marcus Mosiah Garvey. P.S. I take the opportunity of enclosing your patron's ticket for our concert, to which we ask your patronage. I also envelop MG Marcus Garvey. Woo! Stakes getting high. Stakes getting high. And Garvey writes one more. One more. This one, almost an entire year later from the first, actually a few days over an entire year, from the island of Jamaica in the city of Kingston, in the West Indies, on September 11th, one day before Pitbull's birthday. You know, September 11th, the day those buildings came a-crumbling down. But this is many, many years before. This is the year of 1915. My dear Dr. Washington, I take the opportunity of forwarding to you, under separate covers, copies of our local papers containing reports relative to the Universal Negro Improvement Association, that is the UNIA, which I trust will interest you. He's had already established the UNIA in Jamaica. Later on, we know he'll move that to Harlem. He's going to get him a table next to Sinetta. I shall be writing you by next mail relations to my coming visit to America. As for reports to you, will see that my society has the support and recognition of the most influential men of this country. I have up to the present been attacked in Jamaica by two correspondents, one under the nom de plume of progress and an unknown dentist by the name of Mr. Leo Pink. These attacks have been rather personal, but as my integrity stands above the malice and the envy of those persons in Jamaica, I am in no way affected. I shall be able to furnish you and the American public with the best proof of my integrity. No one can understand more quickly than you the sacrifice and heartaches that accompany men who endeavor from the purest motives to do something in the interest of the people. My task at this end is hard one, in that we have firstly to dislodge the prejudice existence among the people themselves before we can achieve the success that efforts of this kind of demand. With very best wishes for yourself and those at Tuskegee, your most humble and obedient servant, Marcus Garvey. Now, why does Marcus Garvey look at Booker T as a king and places himself as a servant? Because Marcus Mosiah Garvey is Bible-bound and Bible-based. And Marcus Garvey understands that the work of God to which he is entrusted by God to do, he must present himself to the people as a servant. And even to the great Booker T. Washington, he has come to serve. Now, Booker T, in 1915, on September 11th, was only 2 months away from being deceased. And by that time, Booker T had an institution that had educated many, had 1,500 people in his facilities, over 120 buildings established on the property of Tuskegee Institute, Normal and Institute. He had over 40 trades to which he taught in 1915. He had over $2 million allocated to the college as an endowment. $2 million in 1915. That's a lot of money. Now you put the one on top of the 10 and match that money to today, you know, Booker T is sitting on it easily $50 million, $60 million. Somebody calculate that out. One of you mathematicians, what the value of $2 million in 1915 would be today. Do your calculations. Write that in the comment section of this video. We'd like to know. We need more information in order to get the proper education out to the wilderness. The people in the wilderness, lost in the North American wilderness. You know, you wildebeest. We're going to get to you, though. Trust and believe this is just the first day. Bet it all. We ain't even got started. This is just some simple stuff. This is just me playing around. Day one. You know how we do it. You know how we do it? So, in the process of this, Booker T. Washington comes to Tuskegee in 1881 and begins the school in a church. With the church, the foundation of black folks out of slavery. You know, that old religion that got us in slavery. Well, you know, 1881, it was built in Tuskegee. That same old slavery system that you talk about, the Bible. Yep, that's what the truth say. That's what the history says. Don't blame me. I didn't write it. All right. So he builds his first building from bricks he made from the dirt he's standing on. He took the dirt he was standing on and made a brick out of it and built the first building of the college. And the Tuskegee began, one brick at a time. That's how you get it built, one brick at a time. So you got 1881 to 1891 to 1901. Woo! That's 20 years. To 1911. That's 30 years. And Marcus Garvey still ain't shown up. And Pan-Africanism has been in effect for 30 years in progress and building. Over there where Booker T is at. Matter of fact, there isn't any other black man with an institution to which he built. Not yet. One's on the way, but black folks ain't gonna build that one. Now, people say, but Booker T. Washington didn't have the money. He got the money from some white folks. Yeah, he sure did. Carnegie, Rockefeller, and a few other fellas. But they had no influence over what was being taught and who would work at the school. Black folks were separate and supposedly equal. Booker T. Washington was teaching the STEM. Science, technology, engineering, mathematics, the building blocks of Kemet, the building blocks of Greece, the building blocks of Ethiopia, the building blocks of Nubia, the building blocks of England, the building blocks of China, the building blocks of Russia. Who's not building with the STEM? Well, those are those naturalists hanging out in the woods. They're not using STEM. They're using alchemy. Nothing wrong with alchemy. We damn sure need to know how to cure ourselves. But here, we're trying to build a nation. We're not trying to build a medicine cabinet. We're trying to build the world in which the medicine cabinet will live. And thus, Booker T is the most powerfulest black man on the face of the earth. Now, the world in which Marcus Garvey would arrive to would be the development and the educational skills of black people to whom Americans freed from slavery would develop. Marcus Garvey would come to an America of an educated black man. He didn't have the hard job of educating women to brush their teeth 3 times a day. Grown women. He didn't have to teach them character. Well, he did, because we always mess up. But he had a big educated population to choose his cabinet from. Matter of fact, he had Booker T's men to surround him once they realized that this is the great Marcus Garvey, great orator of the day. That's just the way it worked. Things happen. And so someone said the computer's lagging. I see you out there, brother. Nothing I can do, you know what I'm saying? We're just a little humble. This is the first year of the Digital Pit Boss Technology Institute on YouTube. We ain't got it yet. We need to raise $20,000. We're gonna have the high technology. I appreciate y'all. This was just a little bit of something for you. I can go all day with this type of thing. I got to break it down in small parts. We got to keep this learning thing on the move. I just felt the need to share this very foundational understanding before I get knee deep in ya with this black power, which is economic control of your environment. This is a black fist. But when you put money in it, it becomes black power. That's black power. Economic control of your environment. Let's get it. Let's formulate some black power. This has been another one of those hit pieces from your boy, the Digital Pit Boss. Share and like this. Comment at the bottom. Hit the goddamn support button and support the channel. If y'all enjoy this type of programming, I'll be happy to bring it to you all day long. But we're going to need some cooperative economics, shared and understood. Y'all know how we do it. So, next time on the Fraternal Order of Pan-Africanism, we're going to get knee deeper into this Pan-African history and its effects and the STEM program. As you see, we got the great Marcus Musa Garvey, we got the great Booker T. Washington, Eric Blyden, we got Sylvester Williams, we got many. We got Martin Delaney. Oh yeah. Funny thing is all these men are Bible-based. Anybody try to teach you Pan-Africanism pre-Garvey and don't give you the effects that the Bible played, they just simply hating history. They just simply not correct teachers. You don't have to love it, but you still got to live from it. I'm your boy, Digital Pit Boss. Enjoyed you? Peace be unto you.